A true, selfless act always sparks another.
So I just finished watching the 2019 Netflix film Klaus for the third time, and those 7 words from Klaus himself always strike a chord with me and put me in that Christmassy mood. But besides the obvious connection with Klaus and the alternative Santa origin story, and the fact that the film sets around the run up to Christmas, is the fact that, like many of the Christmas films, altruism and selfishness are central to the plot. Whether it's the change in personality of Ebenezer Scrooge after being visited by the spirits, the Grinch saving Christmas after previously stealing it, or the boy in the Polar Express who literally risks his life to return a train ticket to a girl. In Klaus, we have the initially selfish and hateable Jasper turning into a more selfless guy by the end of the film. So in Klaus, we have Jasper, who's a postman who's been banished to Smearensburg and told he can't return until he delivers 6,000 letters within 1 year. The problem is, Smearensburg, they don't send letters, and instead they're at war with each other. However, Jasper soon meets a local toy-making woodsman, Klaus, and devises a plan to deliver enough letters by delivering toys to any of the kids that send them a letter. So to the townspeople and to Klaus, they believe Jasper is giving these toys to the children as an act of selflessness, without knowing his secret plan of being able to deliver these letters and to leave Smearensburg. And so on one of their outings, Klaus says to Jasper, "A true selfless act always sparks another." Jasper responds, "I've been around long enough to know that everyone is out to get something. Those kids are in it for the toys." So Klaus replies, "Well, what about you? What's in it for you?" And well, we all know what's in it for Jasper. As he says, kids get their toys and he gets their letters, and enough of those letters gives him the opportunity to leave Smearensburg. At this stage, it's only Klaus who's being selfless. But what makes someone more selfless than another? Why are altruistic behaviours rare? And are they even rare? So, besides being a film fanatic, what you should know about me is that I'm a scientist. A biologist, in fact. And so this raises the question of what defines altruistic behaviour. Is it inherited, or is it environmental? Well, for anyone who's done a course in evolutionary biology, you will know that altruism seems at first to go against the driving force of evolution, that is, to survive and reproduce. To do these things, you need to make sure you can get enough food, have somewhere to live, and someone to mate with. Anything that deviates from this plan, such as giving away food to those in need, sharing habitable space with others, or sharing mates, reduces the maximal reproductive potential of the individual in question. So, how come altruism exists? Well, turns out I wasn't the first person to ask this question. William D. Hamilton dedicated his career to address the question, can genes mediate the expression of altruism? Hamilton derived his own rule that can sometimes be referred to as kin selection or inclusive fitness, which is effectively the idea that genes increase in frequency when the genetic relatedness of a recipient to an actor multiplied by the benefit to the recipient is greater than the reproductive cost to the actor. To break this down, effectively what it means is that an individual can show altruistic behaviour, even if it's a cost to its own fitness, if genes are shared with the recipient of the altruistic behaviour. And so to break it down even further, evolution is about being able to pass on your own genetics to the next generation. And so one way is to do it for yourself, but another way is that if you share genes with another individual and they reproduce, you can also indirectly pass on your genetics. And so ultimately, it could be an entire video just talking about Hamilton's rule and kin selection, as it's a very fascinating subject. But there's also other ways to explain altruistic behaviour, besides just genetic relatedness. And this is relevant to the film Klaus, since in the film there's the two families that live in Smearensburg, the Ellingbows and the Crumbs. And so by the end of the film, we also see altruistic behaviour between these two families. And so relatedness isn't the only solution here. But another demonstration that is seen in the film is the idea of reciprocity. If I do a favour for you, you do one in return. If you like this video, you can give me a like and subscribe. There are different variations on this, but the one that I just demonstrated is direct reciprocity. And this is nicely demonstrated in the scene in the film when the children pick the berries instead of eating them, so the lady in return makes some jam, and then in return the jam is used to make cake. And so here, the altruistic behaviour is returned. And this works well in the case where you're going to be interacting with that same person quite frequently. Another example demonstrated in the film is seen between Jesper and his love interest Alva. Their relationship blossoms throughout the first act of the film as Alva sees the change in the town and increased kindness to each other as a reflection of the selfless act made by Jesper and Klaus. However, their relationship shatters as soon as it becomes revealed what Jesper's selfish reasons for the deeds were. You see, other work shows that women seem to find altruistic men to be more attractive partners. Altruism may be a preferred trait as it indicates he would be willing to share resources with her and her children. You can see, therefore, why altruism would be selected for. And interestingly now, there are reports that there could be some genes or genetic variants that seem to be correlated with altruistic behaviour, showing an actual mechanistic underpinning to this behaviour. And so you can see, therefore, why altruism would be selected for. As at the end of the film, once Jesper has redeemed himself by risking his life to save the gifts for Christmas, we then see him and Alva back together with 2 children by the end of the film. The thing is, us giving a gift or any form of generosity to another almost always doesn't decrease our overall fitness. It is a very small cost to us, yet provides reward to another. So, as the film states, a true selfless act always sparks another, no matter how big or small that act may be. There are other many reasons why Klaus is a great film: the animation, the soundtrack, but a good film also comes from a good plot and strong character arcs. Here the change in Jesper from selfish to selfless strikes a chord, especially at this time of year. So here is my selfless act of offering you this video that hopefully has provided some thought into your day. If you want to give one in return, a subscribe, a like or a share would make my day.